45 million Americans today live in poverty, while the average income of people in Milton, Georgia is almost $100,000. At Cambridge High School, it is easy to forget how people live outside of our little bubble. How much do you take for granted? Regardless of our luxurious lifestyle, there are always selfless acts that anyone can do for others. We interviewed two students from opposite ends of the spectrum, one who is selfish and one who is selfless. Which student resembles you the most?
Caroline Hearn was born in South Carolina on October 19, 1998. 3 months later, Caroline moved to Louisiana for the next 6 years of her life. With those 6 years, she moved 7 times from rental house to rental house, living out of boxes for the first couple years of her life. When they finally bought a house, they discovered they had to move once again. In the last weeks of kindergarten, Caroline moved to Alpharetta, Georgia. Only 2 months after they moved, Hurricane Katrina hit her hometown, destroying everything that had been her home. Luckily, none of her friends or family were killed. Now, Caroline is a sophomore at Cambridge High School. She's the anchor for the school's news show and has a good home and lots of great friends. Despite this, Caroline is very selfless. We asked her several questions and her answers were astounding.
First question, if you had $1 million, what would you want to do with this money?
I mean, the obvious stuff, like give it to charity and give it to people in need and people that obviously need it a lot more than I do.
How often do you do charity works?
Well, every week I do stuff for my church. Definitely one of my favorite volunteer things that I've ever done was go to Lighthouse. It's just like this organization. You go to the beach with kids that have cancer and their families, and it's just the most rewarding thing you'll ever do because it's to see the smile that you put on those kids' faces, and it's you know that they came straight to the beach right out of chemo.
I also heard that you donated 9 inches of your hair to Locks of Love.
Yeah.
What influenced you to do this?
It just seemed like such a stupid thing to worry about, oh no, my hair. It's there are people out there that are fighting for their life. It seemed so ridiculous not to.
Why is this so important to you?
Because, I don't know, everything that we have, we are so blessed. But it's just you just don't realize it. You don't realize everything that you have, and I think that it's important for people to get out there and see what other people are going through. And it's crazy to be thankful for every single thing. Some people would be. Some people really would be.
C.J. Reese was born on July 20th, 1998 in Delaware. He lived there for 7 years, then he moved to New Jersey for 7 more years. After that, he moved to Beaufort, Georgia for a year. He has lived in Alpharetta ever since. C.J. has 1 younger brother and a younger sister. He played lacrosse and wrestled for his freshman year in high school, then switched to rowing this year. CJ has a very good life, and he takes advantage of the privileges he has. This is reflected in the questions we asked him. If you won $1 million, what would you do with this money?
Buy a Bugatti. Well, I'd probably pay for most of my college, and then after that, I'd invest.
When was the last time you did something for charity?
Last year. It was a charity thing for my wrestling team.
When was the last time you donated money or objects to charity?
Never.
What do you think you take most for granted in your life?
I don't know. I don't really take a lot of things for granted.
Keep in mind, CJ Reese forced us to reschedule the interview 3 times on very short notice, wasting our time. As you can see, many students at Cambridge High School have very similar upbringings, but spend their time much differently. How much do you take for granted?